Good afternoon everybody, it's Josh Masters here. Today I want to show you a little tool that I use to calculate what I feel fair market value is on a property when I walk into it. And a lot of people tell me, Josh, I really struggle to understand how much a property is worth when I'm out in the market. And say for going to see 100, 200 properties, which I do regularly and I get a very good feel for it, I'm actually not one of those people who just understands what a property is worth straight away. I actually struggled with that a lot, and I had to come up with a bit of a system to work it out. And it was only after really talking to valuers over many years that I realized that even they ballpark it to some extent before they do their actual in-depth analysis. And one of the systems they use to do that is by working on a square meterage rate. Now, the square meterage rate is simply the price divided by the square meterage of the property itself. Now, it's very important that you're working on square meterage for either land for a house or the internal unit for a unit. So that includes the balcony typically, but internal for a unit for a two-bedder might be 75 squares, for example, or a three-bedder might be 90 squares. And that simply goes into the price to calculate a square meterage rate. So you might get it out at $10,500 a square meter or $11,000 a square meter, for example. Now, after examining maybe 10 to 15 properties, you'll have a pretty good idea if they're all the same configuration, i.e. three bedders with parking or two bedders with parking, and they're all in the same area, what the price range will be. Now, that's quite good, but when you go into the next property, you say, well, how does this compare to the last one? There's all these factors. A good, leveler is to calculate the square meterage on all of them and say, okay, my square meterage range might be $9,000 a square meter for unrenovated property in this configuration, or it could be $10,500, $11,000 for a fully renovated one. So based on the square meterage price for the property that you walk into, you can very quickly work out what that new property is worth. And that will give you an idea when you go to, i.e., do a little bit of negotiation beforehand, or when you're talking to the valuer, what you feel that property is going to sit in terms of the price range. And it's actually something that they refer to on evaluation as well. They will give you a square meterage range, which means they do take it into account as well. So if you're out there in the market and you're looking to calculate, what you feel fair market value is, rather than, eyeballing it in a way, that gives you a little system that you can at least rely on the numbers a little bit, do a little bit more of a calculation on the fly, and hopefully you'll work out a good fair market value to start with in terms of your negotiation and whether that property is over or undervalued at the time. So that's Josh Masters signing off today for Empire Property.